Pull up a chair. This is Fluxtaposed, episode 199, recorded on February 13th, 2018, on the docket today, IRL. Get caught up on what you're playing, featuring all the great things, like more Witcher 3 and Night in the Woods. Finally, we'll close out the show with the community grab bag and the sweet, awkward finish. The road to episode 200 is nearly ended. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the show. Yes, it's Fluxtaposed time. I've been fist pumping since Push It to the Limit. I can't stop. I won't stop. I love it.
Till you get enough?
Yes. Okay, my arms are tired now. That's way too much. That's way too much workout. I'm Jason. It's Lucas. It's Fluxtaposed. It's episode 199. We are almost to 200. I can't believe it. Lucas just... He just parted his hair in a ridiculous fashion.
I did the 90s part.
Oh. You don't have enough flannel on to pull off that look, sir.
I'm going to curl it like a mustache.
Oh, see, audio listeners, this is why you need to join us in the live chat over at youtube.com/Fluxtaposed podcast, because we have all sorts of fun when the podcast goes to video. So
we do.
But hey, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening all the same. We'd love to have you here. And it's a good time for everybody involved. So with that said, we're messing with some new streaming software, so we might have some weird things going on that you might not see before or might not like. So that bear with us as always. But hey, we the stream was up like at 8:30 and not 8:50. So
that's
baby steps. I'm assuming your puzzled look is due to Josh's report of chat.
No, I mean, if you saw me over here, I'm like working feverishly to make sure that all the sliders are slid and all the files are not playing randomly when I turn the volume back up and stuff.
You look like Tom Cruise in Minority Report.
That's true. Zoom and enhance.
I like it.
And for you audio listeners, that was completely useless for you.
Yeah, that was some good podcasting there. That was us waving our arms around like idiots. So, the usual here for Fluxtaposed. So, episode 199. We are almost to 200. I don't know what to say. It's insane. Matt Knight is in the chat, as is Aaron Doherty, as is Josh Braboni.
I want to say that
hi guys.
Thanks to you guys, I am drinking the Conway's Irish Ale. I am celebrating St. Patrick's Day a little bit early, getting my green and my Irish on, because I put a poll up and you guys answered and told me what you wanted. So from the bottle itself, you know that I'm not kidding here.
I was too lazy to go to the garage, so I have bottled water.
Bottled water. Ew, gross. I didn't even know they would drink that anymore.
Ooh.
Oh!
It's a nice, it's a nice red color.
Is it me you're looking for?
Lucas is making faces through his beer glass. It's pretty.
I'm in pain! Okay, that's enough.
Oh, boy. Your punishment will be most severe.
That's true.
So, as I said, we're almost to episode 200. With that said, again, repeating, just deal with it. We want you guys to send us just stuff. Some of you guys already had done that. That's awesome. I appreciate it. We are thankful for that. But we want you, the community, to be involved in episode 200. And we thought that'd be a great moment to allow you to, hey, 200 in the worlds of podcasts. I think 200 episodes is a pretty good accomplishment. I mean, I can't say that it's been a quality of every 200 episode, but I mean, we're still here.
We're
been
going
like,
for
what?
the quantity over quality factor.
Is this 4 years?
Well,
February,
if you think about 50 episodes is a year, because we don't always do an episode each week.
Well, but I mean like we released that episode. I think Fluxtaposed was like the first episode we ever released was in February. I'm pretty sure of 2014. It had to have been. I can't really tell because iTunes only, our feed's screwed up now, and we only can go back 100 episodes, so I can't go back to episode 0 easily unless we went on the website and
nobody goes on the website.
So with that said, though, we'd love to have you guys send us, even if you want to send a text, something in text form, but ideally I'd love to have an audio clip. You can, like I said, cheer us, jeer us, roast us, toast us, all of the above.
Boast us.
And we're going to have that too. We'll have a mashup compilation of all those submissions that we receive and play them on the air during episode 200. If you do want to send something, I'd like if you could get it to us like by the end of this week or at least during the weekend. Or who am I kidding? I'll probably wait and do it on Monday. I'm going to edit them all together. But the sooner you get it to me, the better. You can email. You can hit me up on fluxay@gmail.com or jason@fluxtaposed.com. Either or will work. And we'll have a great little highlight reel of Fluxtaposed greatness to play on the air. And since we're on the topic of 200, we will be doing a standard show, be here on YouTube and, of course, on audio feeds at next week, Tuesday, 8:30 p.m., our usual start time. We'd love to have as many of you here in the chat as possible for that because we're just going to have hanging out, having some great beer, having a blast with you guys, and it's just a celebration of all things Fluxtaposed. And I promise I won't delete the episode the next day. It's a guarantee.
Don't promise things that you can't guarantee. You say you can
guarantee this. I've learned from my mistakes. I know better now.
Okay. Yeah. Good.
So that's our scheduled network promotions we have to do. Scheduled airtime.
Yeah.
So as we like to start off, every episode, like to do a little IRL. We like to give you a little peek behind the curtain into our lives. How we survive, what we do.
Yeah.
Lucas.
How our week's been. Yeah.
It's still winter. Typically in winter, it's flu season. There's illnesses flying around.
Yes.
How are you coping?
I'm on the defense. I've been on the defense all this last weekend because, a little backstory. So I always kind of wanted a pull-out bed in my office just in case I needed to be able to sleep down here or have a guest over and they can sleep down here because it's basically a bedroom, right? So it kind of doubles as our guest bedroom. And because of that, when my wife got sick over the weekend, I was like, or she had actually said, maybe you should sleep downstairs so that you don't get sick. Because I've already been sick, obviously.
She was the sick one. She's already miserable. She should be more miserable.
That's what I said. I said when I'm sick, I sleep downstairs, and when you're sick, I sleep downstairs. What's the deal with that? So
what's the deal with that?
Sorry, exactly.
Jerry Seinfeld.
Well, it's always a good impression when you have to describe what the impression is.
Josh is on to you. He's like, she's not sick. You're just in the doghouse.
No. She was sick. She was very sick, and thankfully she wasn't barfing or anything. But I had to keep myself on the defense. It's called being married, and so I slept downstairs, and that bed is so uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, like. It's the mattress itself, I swear, is just made out like they filled a bag with nails and then threw it in this couch because it's so bad. Like
that's where you make your mother sleep.
That's true. Well, not anymore. Now we have a pull-out couch as well, so that helps. She sleeps upstairs because she gets up early, anyways. So I was sleeping. The first night, I was like, okay, yeah, I should probably sleep downstairs. Second night, I was like, all right, I bet you're still sick. I should probably stay downstairs again. Third night, I was like, oh my gosh, how are you still sick? I want to go upstairs in the bedroom and sleep on that bed, which I also don't think is very particularly comfortable. But after sleeping on that thing, the couch behind me. Oh man, that thing was like a cloud. So finally, after the third day, I was like, you know what? Even if I get sick, I don't even care anymore. I just need to sleep on something that isn't just a bed of nails. So
Right.
that was a great weekend. Let me tell you, I got a lot of sleep, very restful. So I didn't get sick yet, knock on wood, but I did not sleep very well, and I'm suffering for it greatly. My health is deteriorated to practically nothing, but I didn't get sick.
So, would you say you're riding the storm out?
I was riding the storm out. I was. Let me tell you a little story about something that happened on Saturday, Jason. By the way,
stories.
I have this microphone and like all this other stuff. So anytime I need to do something in front of me, I have to like reach around and through. I have to do the reach around to do such a thing, especially typing. So Saturday morning, I wake up and there's no internet.
Grab a brush and put a little makeup.
Yeah, that too. I had scars to fade away the shakeup. So
sorry,
it's okay. So I wake up, there's no internet, and I'm thinking, okay, all I have to do is unplug it.
How did you even get out of bed still? I would have been like, well, this day is done.
Because the bed was so uncomfortable. I was like, get me out of this bed right now. I'll do anything. Apparently what I had to do was fix the internet, because I go upstairs and none of the lights are on. None of them. Not even one. Not even the power indicator.
Did you try turning it off and back on again?
I did. I unplugged it and plugged it back in, as if that was going to work. As if like,
that's amazing. The
fact that it doesn't have any power when it's plugged in, I'm just going to unplug it, plug it back in, and suddenly it will have power. That makes a lot of sense. And so I looked at it. I'm like, okay, that's not good. That's not a good sign, obviously. So, you know, my second thought is, all right, maybe it came unplugged from the back or something, or maybe I need a different outlet. You know, I'm pleading at this point, because I know that the harsh reality is that this thing has died. That's the cable modem itself has died. And so, you know, I'm trying everything I can, hooking it up, wondering if I have another power adapter thing that will plug into this thing. No, it's not happening, Jason.
That
so
sucks.
now the scramble, because obviously we can't go without internet for a day. God forbid.
I can't. I won't. I can't. I won't.
I didn't.
You're living in that fantasy world too, where you're like, well, not fantasy world, but you're like, screw the man. I've got my own modem. I'm not paying your lease fees.
That's right.
I'm sticking it to you, and I'm keeping that money right in my pocket.
That's right.
Until it breaks and you have to buy a new one.
That's right. Exactly. Well, knowing Comcast, they'd probably charge you for it not working anyway. So,
oh yeah, you'd have to pay a restock fee, and then something else, and then something else,
and then we hate you fee, and technology fee, and an HD I hate you fee. So of course we're going on Amazon, and we're like, okay, how much is it just to order the one that I have that I would be replacing? We've had this thing for 4 years, so I mean, it's not terrible that it died. It's not like it died after 1 year, but you know, it's one of those things where you kind of expect it to just work for the foreseeable
I don't know
future.
what the life expectancy is on a modem, or
well, it was getting quite warm, and I suspected that's why I was cutting out those few times. So I wonder if that has something to do with it. Maybe it just heated up too much and just baked itself into
Xbox 360'd itself
pretty much. And so, you know, we're like, okay, should I order the same one on Amazon? But even if I did that, we'd have to wait a day. And who knows when it would.
I know. This is 2018.
I know.
You can't do that.
Exactly. So, you know, and it might come at 8 p.m. the next day. So really, that's basically 2 days. And so I said, okay, I guess I better face the music. I better go to the dreaded brick and mortar store of Best Buy. Second only to Comcast on my shit list. Because you walk in there and immediately you're swarmed by, and I don't understand, they had like 20 people working there, and there were probably 6 people in the store, which was probably a record for them at the time. I mean, it was, you know, 10 o'clock, or no, it was probably noon on a Saturday, so not a lot of people strolling into. I don't know. Anyways, so I get there, and of course I'm looking around trying to figure out, and they're doing this deal where if you bring in your old modem, they'll recycle it and give you 15% off the next one.
That's something.
That you buy there. Yeah, it was pretty much the only reason why I decided to do it. And I go there and I'm like, all right, I'm only gonna get the $50 one, right? That's what you always do, or at least that's what I always do. I'm always like, I'm gonna get this exact one. And so I get there and I'm like, I can't find these damn cable modems. So I made the mistake of asking somebody. I'm like, hey, where's hey bub, where's your cable modems at? And he's like, oh, let me get somebody for you who actually, this guy right here, he works in the department and he'll show you. And then I knew I was doomed. I'm like, just point me in the direction. I don't need a salesman. I'm not buying a car. So I go over there and this guy talks to me. You'll be okay with this one right here, this mid-tier one, but what you're really going to want is this $110 one. I know it's twice as much as what you were expecting to pay, but you got that 15% off coupon. We'll see if we can price match for you.
Episode of South Park. I hear they got some internet out there at California way.
God.
We're heading west.
Yeah.
Did you see any spooky ghosts while you're in Best Buy?
No, but I
any ectoplasm?
It felt like a ghost town in there. Does that count?
That counts.
Even the employee was like, yeah, like nobody comes in after Christmas. Like after Christmas, we get some people returning stuff, but then it's like this, and he like gestured, and there's like nobody in here.
I love that. But you got that 15% coupon.
Yeah. But you got 50, and we'll do a price match for you. I will not be nice, Josh. I will not be nice. So there. Okay, I'll be nice. The person who was helping me was fine. He was actually a decent guy, but that's what they're there to do, is to sell you what you may or may not need.
You had the product picked out. You wanted to go in, get said product, and be gone.
Yeah, exactly. And so I settled on the next tier down of that same brand. I think it's called ASIS, ASSIS or something like that. Surfboard, which is weird name for a cable modem.
What is the benefits of a higher tier? Is it better speed?
Well, let me tell you, because he was
here.
he was upselling me hard, and it was hot. And so he says, well, I think of it as, you think of internet now as a utility, right? And so I like to liken it to your sewer line. You have one sewer line that comes under the street, and then it branches off into your house. And the bigger sewer line that you have that branches off into the main sewer line, the more that's going to go through. And so if you have weird analogy already, but
so my internet is poop. Okay.
Well, it's the tube in which poop flows. and so he's like, this is going to allow, more devices to be streaming at the same time, yada, yada, yada. And so I looked at him and I said, look, dude, I came in here expecting to pay $50. I'll buy the $70 one just because, I do agree. Like, I didn't even look at the specs of the other one that was $50. I just was like, oh, that's $50. I'll buy that one. So I looked at the specs of the $70 one. I was like, well, it's kind of middle of the road. Let's just go with that one. So here's the kicker. The one I would have bought on Amazon, even if I paid next day shipping, would have been $31. Instead, I paid $77 after the 15% off and all that other shit. So the lengths you're willing to go just to get same day internet, I guess. So.
Now, how's the performance? Because we chatted about this as it was happening. You said once you first had it hooked up, you had some degradation in your.
It didn't seem like it was running. I'm going to do a speed test, and it's going to knock this entire show off the internet. I don't know. It seems like
don't do that.
I'm already doing it. Like right now, I'm getting 5 megabytes per second. My upload is. I'm not going to do the upload, but 5 megabytes down. Don't do
upload.
So I don't know if. No, I didn't. So I don't know if it's needs to be reset again, because I pretty much just plugged it in and let it go, because it worked. And by that point, we'd been watching the same Curious George DVD for like 8 hours. So I just plugged it in and let it go. But it does not seem to work as well as the one that I had before. So I'm going to have to power cycle everything eventually and check and see. Could be doing some kind of auto throttling thing, like smart performance thing, but I don't know. I don't know. So, I mean, it works, obviously, because the show, I'm uploading your video. I'm connected to our chat, uploading it to YouTube, et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
So for the most part, I can't really say there is a performance difference. Like, what's really the difference between 80 megabytes per second and 100 megabytes per second, unless you're downloading something and, then it's the difference of like 5 minutes or whatever.
Yeah,
but
especially like if you're gaming or something, eventually, the server, the ping's going to be a bigger factor than your connection, because the delay between your signal hitting the servers and coming back, that's a bigger difference than
exactly
your speed. Your speed is only going to be doing so much. It's not like, I don't know. The only time I feel like I only need internet, like I'm really concerned about speed, is like when I'm trying to install something on Steam or I'm trying to send you a file. Otherwise,
yeah.
I mean,
uploading Battle of the Beer to YouTube or something.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
So, yeah, but like I said, it works now. I mean, we have internet. We have the power.
Do you have the touch?
I do. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Avoiding the plague, and
you're back online.
And I'm back online. I got.
I heard a cough. Look out.
Yeah, I cough every once in a while. Still, it hasn't gone away completely. I hooked up into AOL Online, and I got free 12 months subscription. So, of dial-up.
All right.
56, cool. 28.8 kbps or whatever we used to say back then, because it wasn't megabits yet.
You know what? I think I should have a vote, because my summer project, every time we do this podcast, I think about it as like that poop color on the wall behind me. It's just no good.
I wish it was a little bit taller. I wish it was a baller. No, I wish it was more taupe, like a gray brown.
Yeah, I think I'm going to repaint the basement. This gray wouldn't be too bad. It kind of
nice neutral color.
Yeah,
looks like chocolate milk.
Chocolate. Okay.
Chocolate.
Well, as for me, okay, so part of our Christmas gifts that we got, that my wife got her family and myself. So our my in-laws, my brother-in-law, my wife, she all got us ancestry kits from 23andme.com. I've all of a sudden seen more commercials for them, and we took them. So I had to do a saliva sample. I think like Christmas Day we did them all. And we got them mailed out the next day, and I just got the results in yesterday. Was it last night? I think mine was like the last to come in, which is funny because I had a rough idea of my family genealogy, but not too much. So this gives you like an exact breakdown of like where you're where you're from, essentially. So I am, no surprise, I'm 100% European. I mean, no big shocker there.
What?
But wasn't aware that I am predominantly 40% French and German, and then 33%, which is listed on here as British and Irish, but they can't really distinguish right now between British, Irish, and I think Scottish. So that's all kind of clumped together. And then Scandinavian, 12%, because I knew, like, well, my grandparents always think we're Danish. So there you go.
You spend your money like you are. Oh, hey-o.
So kind of cool to just find out, see where you're from. And like, unlike my wife, like she had a lot of different, like, smaller percentages from a lot of different areas, but I'm really clustered right there in Northwest Europe. So
you have more pure blood in you.
That's right. I have the blood of a king, so I must be sacrificed like Game of Thrones or something, right?
To the fire god. Yeah.
Yeah. The Lord of Light. So that was cool. It's really interesting to see your results and everything. And they have more, like, they have tests that determine like how much, like, what percentage of your DNA goes back to now I'm gonna wish I had the test up. hold on. Neanderthal. Like you can tell your Neanderthal ancestry.
100%.
So for me personally, I have fewer Neanderthal variants than 77% of customers. So I have a lesser amount. So I'm more
advanced.
Yes, quite. So
I could have just told you that looking at you. You looked you got that advanced model look to you.
Nobody ever. So there's that. So really cool to see. It was like it was just hard to be patient for the result. So.
Yeah. How long did it take? Did you say? I forget.
Almost 2 months.
2 months. Wow. I never knew. I don't think I've known anyone who's ever actually done one of those. I've seen them.
Yeah.
I've seen. What's the other one? Ancestry, where you just connect your family.
Yeah, Ancestry. Well, they have. You can do. You can submit a DNA test for Ancestry as well, and they'll do one. But I did. I had a free trial for that. And I did a bunch of research on there because some of my family members have trees that they started on there. But I found some census articles from when my grandpa was like 6, for his family, and I think I found like a boarding pass from one of my family members leaving. I think it was England to come across, and then because like my family, the bulk of them, they immigrated from England, and then on my grandpa's side they went to Canada. So I had like I think my great grandfather was like 100% French Canadian. So Quebecois.
That explains why you felt so at home when we went to Montreal. I could live here.
I could live here.
Now, was the company upset when you sent them that semen sample? Because I know they didn't ask you
by
to.
mistake.
Yeah.
Well, the tube was really small, so I just figured I'd stick it in, and
perfect fit.
Perfect fit every time.
Oh boy.
Kind of like Cinderella, and then the glass slipper.
The glass vial. That old classic.
Yeah, it's kind of like that.
Gross. They should have sent 2.
And beyond that, after I talked about it forever and was lazy about it, I finally shipped Mr. Matt Knight his beer last week. Well, my wife shipped it because she's awesome. So I got it all packaged up, and I rolled the dice, and I was like, I'm going to ship a glass bottle. I don't have a good feeling about this, but I'm shipping a glass bottle. And it made it there. We even I think did we mail it on a Thursday? Yeah, I think we mailed it on a Thursday, and it got there on a Saturday. So even paid for that extreme shipping, and may have inadvertently done it via illegal methods, but we won't. Well, it kind of went out via the USPS and not UPS. We told them it was liquids, at least. So I don't know. I was watching, I was feverishly checking the tracking results, waiting for it to get seized somewhere, and then. But hey, it made it. Nothing got broken.
You were breaking the law.
I think you got to I don't know. I don't know what the key is. I don't think you need to have styrofoam, but I mean, you just got to package it smartly, and then definitely seal everything in plastic. Like Matt, when he sent me his beer, he had all the cans sealed in individual plastic bags. So I did the same. So then if you do have something break, hopefully you can contain it.
Yeah. I've also heard diapers work well because it absorbs the liquid.
That's a good idea.
And they do absorb liquid, trust me. My adult diapers, I can pee at least 10 times before I have to change one. And I pee a lot. That's actually a good segue into our next thing. But I was just going to say that when I was doing the information for what we're going to talk about next, I posted a link to a video, I think of homebrewacademy.com or something like that. And yeah, it was all about wrapping it in bubble wrap, and I think I saw somewhere that the necks are what typically break because they're the hardest part to wrap, because you have to obviously you're wrapping around the body of the bottle, but then you have this part where it's going to get kind of loose, and so they recommended putting rubber bands on to hold to keep it tighter. Bubble wrap. Yeah, and then like you said, throw it all together, make sure none of it moves, and as long as it's not clanging around in there, it should make it safely. But again, always make sure you lastly wrap it all into or put the whole package into a Ziploc bag or garbage bag.
Yeah, because I mean that's going to be the biggest problem. Because I'm assuming if you've got a leaking package, it's going to get seized, or they're going to like I don't know how that like. Let's say you did ship it UPS and it like you had a bottle break and you've got like beer leaking from this
out
box. Are they still going to deliver it, or are they just going to be like
throw it away?
Yeah,
that's what that guy said anyway in the video.
Oh, okay.
So I would take his word since he's said he shipped a lot of beer. So
I'm a little upset because my one neighbor got like signed up into some beer club, and they they mail you you get like beer samples every so many months, and so he had a 12 pack. It was a styrofoam container specifically for bottles.
Yeah,
but it was a 12 count, and it's like, well, when am I going to ship 12 bottles of beer?
Yeah, I've seen those for sale. But they're wine shippers, so you still have to pad it a little bit. Yeah. And they're like $20-$25.
Yeah, when Matt and I first were discussing trading, we were researching like containers or something like that, and everything was like really expensive. But let's just go right into it. So we after we had talked about previous episodes and speculated with the live chat during these podcasts, we thought, hey, we should do a beer trade, and then finally, we've had more than enough people interested, and we've said, okay, let's actually organize this. And Lucas has taken that step. We have officially have
spreadsheets.
The Fluxtaposed Beer Exchange is a thing. It is up on the website, but you have to have the special link to get there. Yes. So if you are interested in joining up and signing up for the Fluxtaposed Beer Exchange, message myself or Lucas, hit us up. We'll get you signed up on there, and you
preferably Twitter, but Facebook for some of you people not on Twitter. I haven't talked to any Facebook people, and obviously the people who just listen to the show and aren't socially active, just hit us up, Twitter, Facebook, message us, and we'll give you those sick deets.
How many signups do we have right now?
I think 7 altogether, including you and I.
Yeah. Yeah, so good number, and we've got a channel on our Discord. So, hey, speaking of Discord, we do have a Discord. You can join us if you want to. You can go right on the website. There's a button. Join us on Discord. Hit that automatically. We'll get you dumped in there. Let me know if you are on there and you want to be added to the beer channel, because it is an invite only, super secret private access type thing. So,
yes. Sounds like we're gonna do it bi-monthly right now.
Yeah, I think that's overall consensus. Bi-monthly, we'll ship it out, and you'll get paired up with someone each trade, and it'll be a sweet time, because we've got people from varying parts of the country, so you should be able to get some unique brews. I mean, plus I think Denny Luce can get any beer anywhere. He's got the connections. It seems like I wish we had a listener from Minnesota so that we could get some of that Minnesota beer. The Surly Brewing. I want another coffee bender. That was delicious. That was darn good. So I guess one thing we could talk about too, you can obviously send stuff yourself, but I mean, we could even look into, people when you're trading with someone, you could look to split the costs of a shipping container, and you guys ship those back and forth. I don't know. Most likely, we're just going to use what we have around. I've like after Christmas, I've ordered so much crap off Amazon. I've got a stockpile of boxes and paper and styrofoam and bubble wrap. So.
Well, I figure that the initial investment of like if you send it out in a nice packaging, as in like it's packaged well, and you make sure the bubble wrap can be reusable, then it will be reusable for the person who received it. So then you should just only have to keep that box around and then repack everything up.
That's a good point. Once we get a good method going, I like it.
I don't know why the chat isn't appearing in the just an aside. The chat stopped appearing in our video for some reason, just randomly.
Oh, yeah.
Ah well.
Mike brings up a good point. We got cameraman Chad, and he's got family in Minnesota.
Hey. Do they want to join our beer exchange for a podcast they've never heard?
And yes, Matt, we're all ready for the glory of your Genesee. Send it all.
Yes, I was being serious. I'll take one as a joke.
Only if I can send you some skunky Aldi beer in its replace.
It's gonna get interesting in summer when the heat is really active, because I wonder how that's going to affect the beer. At least there won't be any light, but
I don't think it's I don't think it's going to sit around too long though. I mean, yeah, it's going to be on trucks and things like that, but I don't think it's going to be I don't think it'll be a big concern. I was more worried about my beer like being cold and then warming up and getting, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Because because that's like the risk, like when you're buying it from the store. Oh, is it already chilled? Is it room temperature? And then is it going to affect it if it gets up to temperature in the back? I always worry about those things, but
that's true.
So, but yeah, the Fluxtaposed beer has changed. It's a thing. It's starting up. We hope to do our first trades. Hopefully, maybe ship out towards the end of this month. So, again, make sure you hit us up if you want to join. We'd love to have you. Mm-hmm. And if you don't want to join, well, you're a big poopy head.
Fuck off.
That's what George Lucas says. Reminder too, coming up down the pipeline, we've got Netflixation still a thing. Next episode featuring Netflix, featuring a Netflixation will be the end of the month as usual, which will be the 27th. So the episode after episode 200, and we decided to keep the theme going of being somewhat topical, and we're going to watch Cloverfield Paradox because I want to watch it. You want to watch it.
I'm invested in the Cloverfield universe to a certain degree.
I do like the Cloverfield franchise, so I'm kind of interested. I haven't watched Cloverfield in like 8 years, I feel like. So I kind of want to go back and watch that again. It's been a long time.
Yeah, not since it came out in theaters.
I may have had a copy on an external hard drive at one point in time.
What? Not you.
Don't know.
No.
Don't know how it got there.
No way.
It's right next to my copy of There Will Be Blood. Eli.
Oh, hey, that reminds me. I was looking at this earlier.
We
haven't played this in forever.
Milkshake. I drink it up.
Also, just for you.
Winamp. It really whips the law.
That was a bit of indulgence on our part. Sorry.
Oh, Winamp, I love you. So yeah, Cloverfield Paradox. When is that? When is the movie with Paul Rudd that we talked about? Was it Mute or what was that one called?
I believe it was Mute.
When's that releasing? Because that's going to be another Netflixation along the way.
Don't just look up Mute on Google because you get
you won't get
stupid
any results.
Yeah. What a dumb. Welcome to Berlin 2052. Coming February 23rd.
Oh, okay, so this month. I mean, we'll do Cloverfield Paradox, and I don't want to wait a whole month to watch Mute, but I guess we'll have to.
Oh, we could break our own rules and just do it mid-month. Like some kind of crazy man. We did go in December without doing one at all, so we kind of
so we'll do owe it to ourselves. I like when you did your accent. You sounded like that guy from Road Trip when he was like, "It's good that you came in summer. Winter here could be very depressing."
Miami Vice, #1 TV show.
#1 show. Bye, Matt. Matt's leaving the chat. Say goodbye to Matt, everybody.
Bye.
Bye. So that's our upcoming Netflixation. We hope you enjoy it. I've heard mixed things, but you know what? I'm trying not to let that filter me or sway me, because you know what? A lot of people didn't like Bright. Critics didn't like Bright. I enjoyed Bright. Some critics have not liked Altered Carbon. I love it. So I'm just gonna go in and
you're terrible. You're terrible at watching TV. You should not have.
You don't like anything. You're like, don't even know what's good.
Well, it's important to be critical of all things, because if we're not critical, then how would we enjoy anything? If we can't rip it to shreds, I can't love it as for what it is.
This is not going to go the way that you think.
That movie didn't go the way that I thought, so that was he was right.
It didn't. It didn't. Well, hey. There you go. How about we play an Overclocked remix?
Okay. I'm gonna spin the wheel of remixes.
Josh, I don't know if we can handle bi-weekly Netflixation. That's a big commitment on my part. I got to give up game time to watch Netflix.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so we have number 4, and it's Seiken Densetsu 3. And I remember this game, not this game, but this series, because I don't know anybody who ever played it except for Tom. You remember Tom? Biking Tom?
Yeah.
I hit my microphone.
Tom,
He was
Tom
all
Moore.
about these games.
It's an RPG series, right?
Yeah, it's called Seiken Densetsu 3. It's got so many waifus in it. It's like so hot. I don't know why I'm doing that all of a sudden, but I love it now.
I don't know, but I love it. I love it so much. So, okay, as Lucas stated, Seiken Densetsu Thrice Moonlight Dance. Remixer is Batistella.
Batista, the wrestler?
Yeah. Jose Batista. And, yeah, this is...
Oh, Jesus. Oh, my God. That's a little preview. It just played in the window randomly. That was weird.
Hey, usually the streams doesn't let you do that. Your internet must be more powerful
than even you could ever imagine. Yes.
Okay. This was released by Square in 1995 on the Super Nintendo Entertainment System. What is our song that's being arranged is Powell. Genre, we've got EDM, house, trance, so you kind of get the idea there. Yep, this is from Overclocked Remix. As always, you can find this remix and many, many more at ocremix.org. Still got to work out some details. We're still going to have that OC Remix episode coming down the pipeline. Probably not until March, I would assume at this point. But there you go. Lucas, are you prepared?
I am ready.
All right. We're going to play the remix. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll do some what you playing. We'll have some fun times. So stick around for that. But hey, let's play the song, and we shall return.
There you go.
There you go. Overclock remix. Hope you got your. I'm gonna add that to my pocket right now, so I remember to hopefully update that playlist some year. Probably not.
I liked that one for being EDM, which is very typical.
It wasn't. Yeah, and that's hit and miss for me whether I like it or not. I think for episode 200 I'm going to pick the song, and I want to play that Street Fighter one, that funky one I sent to you.
Oh,
a few weeks
yeah.
back. That one's sweet. So sweet. All right, that was again Overclocked remix, and now it's time to move on with the show and talk a little. What you playing?
Pizza
it's
power.
kind of fitting with them getting that new trailer in Injustice.
Huh?
Turtles are in that game. Yeah, the Turtles are in Injustice. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I haven't got a chance to watch it, but Mr. Josh from the chat was talking about it on PSVG's latest episode.
I want to play that game because I like fighting games.
Seems like a very well supported fighting game. Like I haven't played, not counting like platform brawlers, but I haven't played like a proper 2D, like a proper 3D fighting game, and oh boy, I don't even remember. I think because I think I get like the combo system. I feel like if you have to know the combo system, and you have to be like, take Street Fighter for example. I don't think that's anything I could ever.
Yeah, because you gotta. Well, and that's why you always play. Well, their move sets aren't shared as much as you see in some of the brawler type games, because like you have moves that are similar, as in you do them. Oh, the chat's back randomly. So weird. You do them. Like each person has a certain type of move. Like, oh, I have this type of move or that type of move. Obviously, I don't play the brawler ones very much, but in fighting games, they typically are like completely different move sets. Nothing is similar. The only thing that's really similar is whether or not you do like the quarter circles or the half circles, or is it one of those where you hold back and then press forward, or that type of thing. Yeah, like Street Fighter's the quarter circles, or at least it was the last I played. So
interesting.
But I'm just saying, I think you're right. Like, yeah, you pick one character and then you stick with them for a while until you memorize the moveset. Right, right. That can. I think
that's what I moved on to. I think I just have more fun. I excel more with the type of game that Smash is. So that's kind of what I gravitate more to. But we're not here to talk about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. We'll have another podcast to talk about that. Let's talk some what you playing. I didn't have a whole lot here. You got a bit. Why don't you go ahead? Because I can just slice things up at the end. Hey, there's Cody. He's sleeping.
Yeah, he's being an a-hole. Cody, I'm doing a podcast right now. You need to be quiet. Jesus.
What a jerk.
What a dumb. This isn't Dogcast. Okay, I'll go first. Well, first thing, more Witcher 3. Liking it. Not much to say right now. I mean, it's like a 60-hour game, so I'm probably not going to say much anymore beyond, hey, I'm playing more of it. I did notice, though, that I needed to upgrade my equipment because I was getting my ass handed to me. And I was like, what is the problem with the, why am I constantly getting my ass handed to me? And it's because I just forgot to upgrade my gear. Like, in this game, you have to craft. Well, you don't craft. You find resources, and then you take it to a blacksmith, and then they'll craft something for you. So it's kind of, I didn't really know that was that important, but now I do. So upgrade your gear, kids. Out the fun way. Yes, by dying a lot. That's the funnest way I can think of. Speaking of dying a lot, one game I do want to talk about is Just Cause 3. This is my side action game, because I needed something to be completely different than fantasy genre type deal, either in the sense that it's not an action role playing game, or in the sense that it's not a similar world. It's not a fantasy medieval setting. So I said, you know what? I'll play Just Cause 3. That looks fun.
Is that kind of like your Saints Row?
A little bit. Yeah, I'd say more Saints Row than Grand Theft Auto. It tends to be a little bit more over the top. It has a little bit more freedom of movement. I mean, that's the big thing. Your movement is much more fluid. You can easily transition from being able to, because you have this harpoon thing that allows you to grapple onto things. So you can like grapple onto the side of a building, and then you can open your parachute and glide, and then open your wingsuit, and then travel that way and string it all together, and then grapple onto a helicopter.
Combo breaker.
Exactly. So it's a lot of fun. Because it's a game that you can easily not take too serious. I have that problem sometimes where I'm like, oh, I need to take this game, like Witcher 3. I need to take this very seriously. I'm going to role play as a Witcher, and I'm going to pretend I'm a Witcher. No, not really. But I do take it a little bit more seriously, where I try to do more. I worry about the lore, and I'm trying to be more like how Geralt would be, so to speak. Whereas in this game, you just blow shit up.
Oh, well, I know how he would be. All right.
That's right. Bring me a unicorn and we'll have sex on it. And that goes to anybody, really. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's really easy to take it not seriously, just because the way that the game doesn't take itself very seriously. But it has some frustrating controls. I find a lot of the time, especially with the keyboard and mouse, this is one of the games I find quite often with Grand Theft Auto or Just Cause or or even Saints Row. I tend to go from the controller back to the mouse and keyboard during the game. So if I'm controlling a vehicle, I'll use the controller, and then on foot especially while shooting, use the mouse.
I would do that in Battlefield.
Oh yeah, I could. Yep.
Because it's just like flying the planes was a lot easier with the 360 controller.
Exactly. Good. Yeah, that's a good example. They have helicopters in this one. Same thing. But the problem is, especially like in the helicopters and stuff, I accidentally hit the wrong button sometimes, thinking I'm hitting the correct one, and then I jump out of the plane or the helicopter, and open my parachute and parachute away, and then the helicopter starts falling and crashing to the ground because there's nobody piloting it, and then I'm like, damn it, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to press this other button. And
speaking of bad helicopters, what was that game we'd play at LAN parties? That was the Battlefield ripoff. It was like a jungle themed, and there was like some islands, and you had like the helicopters were like flying a helicopter in that game was like WASD, just like point and click. It wasn't nearly as complex like with how Battlefield was. But what the heck?
Wasn't it something ops?
Was it?
Yeah,
Joint
Ops.
Joint Ops.
Yeah,
was it Joint Ops 3 or something like that? Or was it just Joint Ops?
2. I want to say 2. I'll look it up. But yeah, that's the one that killed my.
But
I know why you were saying it. I'm like, Joint Operations Combined Arms. Joint Operations Typhoon Rising.
Yes. Yeah, you're like computer like trying when you were like installing it or something, your computer like
I contracted NIMDA. It was the NIMDA virus. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
It blue screened on boot, and I had to completely reinstall everything.
This is how nerdy we are. We were playing at our buddy's house, Jared's, actually, in his backyard. We had a tent, like an open house tent set up, and we had tables. And we had our laptops, our computers in the backyard.
God, we wish we had laptops.
playing computer games like nerds.
And then we slept together in the same bed.
In a camper.
Mm-hmm.
It's magical.
Out of necessity, just to be clear. Not because there were other options, but we were like, well, it's cold outside. We better snuggle up. Even though that's exactly what happened. But anyways, yeah, so all that to say, these are not Joint Ops helicopters.
Yeah.
But I will say that this damn game crashes like a mother effer. I didn't have too many problems at first, but if I played it for about 30, 45 minutes, I'd start to get this weird slowdown. And it gives me a warning at the beginning of the game. I have 8 gigabytes of RAM. Granted, not a whole lot these days, but sufficient for most gaming needs. It gives me a warning that my RAM levels might cause critical game performance or something. Yeah. And that's because I don't think this thing was coded very well for PC. Or optimized very well for PC. So I had today I had 2 blue screens of death, one of which was memory management, and the other one was I don't even remember what the other one was, but again, blue screen of death. So
Yeah.
very frustrating. The game is fun, but it also has some pretty long load times. Once it does load, it doesn't, for the most part, most of the time it doesn't load much after that, unless you go into a mission of some sort. But for the most part, the open world is an open world where you don't have to stop to load or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and then lastly, I watched some movies, Jason. I had a bug in my ass for some reason I thought about this. I was like, I've never actually sat down and watched all of these Fast and Furious movies. I've made fun of them plenty of times. They kind of were like the Transformers movies to me. Like I watched like one of them and maybe like a little bit of the second one or something. But for the most part, I kind of just wrote them off as below my my standards of what I would call a movie. But I said, you know what? Come hell or high water, screw it. I'm gonna watch them. I'm slightly in the demographic. I like racing games. I like cars. So I like sports cars, muscle cars, station wagons, Jeeps, SUVs. No. So I thought, you know what? It can't be that bad. Like it's not. Yes, Josh says 7 and 8 are ridiculous. All of them are ridiculous. But the farther down the line you get, the more I realized they're more like James Bond or something, where it's more about the stunts than it is about the cars.
I feel like by 7 and 8 though, they've embraced that side of it. So in a way, it's going to like make the film a little bit better because they know it's ridiculous over the top, and they're just going to.
It's like the Expendables or something. Yeah, they just know it's silly. Well, let's start. Okay, so I started at The Fast and the Furious, which came out in 2001. I was a sophomore in high school, I believe, or junior. Sophomore. What comes after freshman?
Sophomore.
Sophomore. Okay. I need to go back to school, obviously.
Yes.
So I started with that, and then the next day I watched Too Fast, Twice as Fast, 2 Times the Furiousness, and of course that is a title that will forever remain in the history books as one of the most ridiculous titles that there has ever been. And here's what I found, Jason. Here's my findings. Number 1, at least these first 2, especially the first one, it's like Power Rangers for adults that like car enthusiasts, because I think I could probably do a mashup of all of the camera moves that they do in Fast and the Furious and find something in the Power Rangers or something like that is very similar. For instance, when somebody drives up in Power Rangers is always a good thing to talk about. When a car pulls into a parking space or goes up to the drag race line, there's like this push in on like the rims of the car or like the motor or something like that, something, but it's so cheap looking that it doesn't really add any dramatic quality to it. It's just like, hey, look at these sweet rims, you know what I mean, or whatever. And in the first one, the cars look freaking terrible. They look like just regular people's cars that they slap some stickers on. Like the paint jobs are just regular paint jobs that you would get from like your typical car. You would just have your regular paint job, and then you would put a sticker of like racing stripes over it or something. It's just so bad. And so, yeah, it's just got this really childlike quality to it that just, I don't know, it's just so silly to me. The music in particular of the first one is so bad. I want to play a game. I wanted to set this up, but I didn't want to take the time to do it. But I swear to God, you might not be able to tell the difference between this soundtrack, or at least parts of it, and the soundtrack to Mortal Kombat, the movie, which came out like 6 years earlier. There's just like a lot of weird EDM techno from the early 2000s that is just so bad. Like you hear it now and you're just like, nobody would listen to this. Like why is this what's being played right now? Because it does not age well at all. Like that type of music.
Us a sample? Is that what's going on?
I'm going to try to, we'll see. There's a part where and this is part of the cartoonishness of it. There's a part where like the people, what's his name, Chris or Walker guy, I can't.
Paul
remember.
Walker.
Paul Walker. May he rest in peace. There's a part where he nobody knows who he is. He works at this part store, and he pulls into the races at the wherever they meet up at. You know, some abandoned warehouse or something. Host of the new Shut Netflix up, series, Joe McHale. Nobody likes you. And like he's just standing around, and then the characters of the movie are just like, "Hey, here's this douchey looking white dude. Let's go talk to him." For some reason, like I don't know. It's just so weird that that's kind of like the aesthetic they went for, was like basically where's the place that they hang out in Power Rangers? The Grove.
Oh gosh, what was it? I don't remember what the part of their high school was.
Yeah, but it was like the community center, the rec center. It's just like that, but for adults is what it looks like. It's just so ridiculous. I found it. Just a second. I'll see if I can get a sample here.
The Peach Pit. Thank you, Josh.
The Peach Pit? I don't think that's true. That sounds vaguely sexual, and I like it. I forgot it was on HBO Go. I was thinking Netflix because I always watch everything on Netflix, typically. And then as I'm pulling this up, the other thing is that it's a nice love story, this first one. But it's not a love story between the woman, his sister, Dom's sister, and our main character. No, it's a love story between Dom and
you want to know
what's
what
his
I'm good
name?
Good.
Paul Walker. Paul Rudd Walker. All right. The stereotypes in this are amazing, by the way. You have group of Chinese people, like group of Mexican people, group of... Okay, so you got to have Ja Rule because he's in the movie. Here we go. Watch your back.
Hey man, using my face.
It's so bad. Of course, I'm scrolling through this trying to find the music and I can't find it. This is why you set things up, but ahead of time. But I mean, I don't know. It's just after. Oh, here we go. After the first one, I don't understand how more of these got made. I really don't.
Because they made money.
Yeah. Well, you got to remember. I have to remember. It was 2001. I probably would have thought this was cool as hell. Here we go. Mortal Kombat. Scorpion. Reptile.
Sub-Zero.
Yeah, exactly.
Johnny Cage.
So,
okay.
And I will say this. Out of these last two, I'm pissed because there's no 300ZXs. I cannot believe it. In the second one, no 300ZXs. That's bullshit. Or ZXs if you're from Europe. But
Callow feels your pain.
Well, it's pretty shitty. And in the second one, there's a part where there's a ton of cars. Like they do this bait and switch where they get out of the cars they were in, get in new cars, and then they have like literally 50 cars come out of these garages. And there's not one 300ZX. Like, come on. If Do You Believe can have my 300ZX in it, then a damn car movie should.
That's a good point. I'll give you that.
Well,
I will give you that.
Thank you, sir. And on that note, I will pass the floor to you. I do plan on. I am going to watch in the order that is chronological. So I will not be watching Tokyo Drift next. That apparently goes at the end, I guess. So
that movie doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's like a spin-off
Choose
movie.
to acknowledge it.
I liked it better than the first two.
We need to keep our Fast and the Furious cinematic experience pure. Okay, gotta keep it pure.
That's true. Keep the timeline. You can't have it looking like Zelda. It's got to be A to B, not A, B1, B2, and then over here is Z. I like Tokyo Drift too. So, anyways,
all right.
That said, the floor is yours, sir.
I never watched this. I just like to be devil's advocate.
Never watched Fast and Furious?
Tokyo Drift.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people don't like it, actually, if I remember correctly.
Well, as for myself, I when did I start playing it? I don't remember. I started playing. Did I talk about Night in the Woods last week? I don't remember if I did.
Yes, you did.
I did. Okay. So I finished it. I played it through to its completion. You know, I have mixed feelings about the game because it's use the term game lightly. It's very much an interactive story with some light gamey elements that come into play. But like the writing is like very compelling, and like it does a great job of making you like care about these characters and like their interactions. And like for the most part, the character you play as, May, is like a terrible person. No. Just like the things she says and like her like concepts and the stuff she deals with just makes her kind of a terrible person. But like the game, like the pacing is just a bit off for it. Like the beginning of the game is very much a slow burn, and it's very repetitive, and you're just kind of doing the same things over and over. Then you finally get like this event happens that kind of opens up the story, and then like the last couple acts are just like and it's done. You know, like everything just kind of came to a conclusion very abruptly, I felt like. And as I was playing, I was like focusing on the story, getting that done, and there's a couple little things I want to explore and do. But I was like, I'll come back to that, because I'm sure after I finish the game, you know, I can just load up the save file and pick it up where I left off. No, when I finish the game, my only option is to start a new game. I can't continue my old game any longer. It's like done. So I was like, oh, that sucks.
Oh no.
And I kind of got this feeling like there's some stuff going on with her family, and the way the game concludes, it really only gives you a ending. I used it in air quotes about her group of friends, but I really was left wondering what's going on with her family too. And like, cause I felt like there was some things that were unraveled that I wanted to see kind of get brought back together. So it's just, I don't know. I feel bad because I do really like the game. There's just a couple things that kind of brought it down for me, but I do really enjoy like the oddball nature of it all. And like, I was listening to, last week's episode of Nintendo Voice Chat from IGN, and Pierre Snyder described it as like Wes Anderson. I can't remember what other elements he put in there, but it is very much kind of like a Wes Anderson meets Animal Crossing meets something a little more darker. But you know, it had some really interesting themes. It talks, you know, about, you know, depression and anxiety and some other social disorders and things of that nature. And it did a really good job of making you care about the characters, and like the way the dialogue feels really legitimate, and it's really excellently well written. I think you could probably get through the game in about 10 hours. So it's anything if you ever want to try experiencing it. I mean, it was really cool. I still overall enjoy it. I just a couple bumps along the way, but it was still a pretty cool experience all the same. And oddly enough, I got back into Celeste. I thought I was going to be done for that for a bit, and I've been like driven to play through the B-side. So again, those are like in each level, there's a cassette tape you can find that unlocks an alternate version of that stage that's balls harder, and it has like a remix soundtrack. And if you follow me on Twitter, I've been kind of I've been sharing some of my game captures from that through the feature natively on the Nintendo Switch. And my God, like this stuff is so hard. Like I got through a section today on my lunch. I had like 700 deaths. Oh my God. It's insane. But I had to say, like, there's times when I'm playing, I'm like, I have no idea how it's possible to get through this. And I literally, after a while, I'm like, okay, I can't take it anymore. And I put the controller down and I step away, and I'll come back to it later and I'll do it. But I mean, as frustratingly difficult as things can be, it feels insanely rewarding when you pull it off and you get through something. I feel like I'm Rocky Balboa just running up the steps, you know. It's like one of the best like risk reward, like sense of accomplishment I've had is just getting through some of that stuff in that game. And I know I don't have as low a death counts as other people, but just to say that I've like gotten through some of these platforming sections is insane. So I think I'm on the last B-side right now. And so once I get that done, I've completed all the B-sides, and then I think I just have to go back and get some of the crystal hearts from the regular levels, and then I'll be all set to tackle one of the last extra stages. Then, and only then, will I be done with Celeste, and I'll move on. But great game. I really like it. Really cool. Again, really cool platforming gameplay with a little light mix of story along the way. Brawlout had a patch finally. Released last week, I think Wednesday night. Tweaked a few things, gave us regional matchmaking. Has a Brawlout TV option. You can spectate live matches or watch them after they happen. Nerfed and buffed some characters, so it's just kind of fun to play that again. I still really like Brawlout. Their Discord is a toxic, terrible place. Don't go there. Don't go there. So basically what you imagine, like shitty kids on the internet in a fighting game. That's what the Brawlout Discord was. I thought you could have some decent conversation and be like try to meet some decent people to play, but that's not the case. So don't go there if you're looking for.
Don't go there.
Don't go there. So, but Brawlout's, Brawlout. And oddly enough, out of nowhere, I picked up a blast from the past. Apparently, like 3 years in the past. Shadowrun, Dragonfall.
Yeah.
I started playing that this week. And it's actually been a great break game at work because I loaded up via Parsec, stream it from home to my work computer, and I can get through. It's been a great game if you only can play like a half an hour, because typically that's going to get you through like maybe one combat experience and then you just step away. So I really was not far in the game at all. I think I was basically did like the first couple missions and that was it. So Dragonfall, what takes place in Berlin. It's been really, I have to say, like you said, it was tricky to kind of remember what the heck I was doing again. Yeah. So for your experience, so since you've played it, I am currently trying to raise enough funds so I can hire that, pay the fee to hire that one chick to dig up the dirt on the one guy to do the thing for the person and stuff.
Yeah, right.
That's what I feel like how I'm describing this. But so I'm just going around and doing odd jobs and odd ends. And I have to say, like, being away from that game as long as I have and then going back into it, it's been a bit of a clunky experience. Like that engine is a little unforgiving at times. And I've had it, like, don't get me wrong, I still like it, but I get frustrated with, like, if I'm standing right next to somebody with a machete and I have a 95% chance to hit, I shouldn't miss.
Yeah. Right.
Or I have the one orc with the sniper rifle, and you have to be like really far away from anyone to actually have a decent percent to hit.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just frustrating to miss with that thing, which I understand why, because it does like 20 damage, but
yeah,
it's just frustrating to miss those sniper shots. So it's kind of like learning how to play again. I couldn't even remember what archetype I had made my character.
I was wondering about that. I was like,
Street Samurai is what I went with, because when I played Shadowrun Returns, I was a shaman, and I wanted to go like complete opposite. So now I'm a Street Samurai. I have a katana now, and I just get up in people's faces and just do a bunch of damage and then run away. So it's been really fun to get back into it, and like especially something like that, such a text-heavy, narrative-focused experience. And I do like the combat. I've always liked the combat with what Harebrained Schemes did with that grid-based, strategy. I have to say, like, I still have a frustration, like when you're doing like a big mission and you end the combat, you kill all the enemies, but then you have to move your characters and you're still stuck moving in turns. And it's every time I forget and I don't do it and I space my characters apart, that's when it bites me in the ass, because then I'll enter the next room and there's enemies in there. And that's why combat was still turn-based, because it technically wasn't over. But now I've thinned out my squad, and now one person just gets focused and destroyed. And then I'm like, son of a bitch.
Sounds familiar to something that I forgot to add to my list anyway, that we played together.
Yeah, we'll touch on that a little bit too. So
okay.
It's been good to get back into the world of Shadowrun. Let's face it, it's all thanks to Altered Carbon. That's the only way. That's the only reason I would go back into that. So
yeah,
I just had that itch to visit something, that Blade Runner-ish world, and I really need the Last Night to come out because I want to want to play that so bad. But
yeah, I do too.
Yeah, Shadow. I really like it. I don't know how far I am or how far I have to go. I'm assuming I have a lot of game yet to play through, but I'm enjoying the ride. And as Lucas alluded, we did play. We talked about doing it forever, and we finally played it last weekend. Shadowrun Chronicles Boston Lockdown.
Boston Lockdown.
The MMO version of Shadowrun that I don't remember what happened with it. I remember there was one big development snafu or something happened, or they just released it as free to play. I can't remember, but I don't think it's free to play because I think you can still buy it on Steam. But it's essentially an MMO version of Shadowrun.
I wouldn't say MMO because I mean it is, but not in the sense that it's not World of Warcraft or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's very
okay. So it's an online, it's a multiplayer Shadowrun.
Yeah,
and I have to say I was always curious of how they would take a turn-based tactical RPG and make it multiplayer, and it kind of works because I just feel like to me it's like you're an NPC. You get to take your turn and do your own actions, and then I do mine, and it actually works kind of well, but their chat system is terrible. Like it's very clunky, and like typically you're used to being able to just type enter and then type, but in this you have to actually click into the chat box and you can't reposition it. It's just stuck on where it is on the screen. It takes up a lot of real estate, so that's not really a good alternative for you to use. It plays very similar to the Harebrained Schemes games, though. Terms of, I do have to say, though, like you mentioned this, we were frustrated about it. Is I'm used to being able to take a move action and then an attack, or if I want to attack, then I can move. And in this game, if you attack, it ends your turn no matter what.
Yeah,
so
I wonder if there's something that you unlock when you start leveling up that allows you to do.
Or maybe there's a skill. Yeah, like maybe there's a skill or a trait or a class that.
Granted, we didn't play I think we played 2 missions because we had to replay that one 3 times or something like that. We got
ourselves sabotaged. I loved how, you're like, I got this. I'll clean up. You guys just get out of here. So I moved the NPC who can't die. Then as soon as I ended her move turn, I realized she was in the line of fire. And sure enough, we get this cinematic pistol fire from the enemy. One shots her, drops her, failed the mission, had to restart it.
Yeah, I feel like this is one of those games where it gets more fun towards the middle because you start unlocking, like we don't even have Overwatch or anything like that. So
yeah, I think it's funny how I went like a class of a complete opposite of everyone. I went like hacker / decker, and I have like this PDA on my wrist. And I thought I grabbed a pistol because I'm like, I want to be able to kill people, but apparently I can just like digitally hurt people through my data pad.
Yeah, it's called like a data spike or something.
I don't know.
I mean, everybody in that world, almost everybody has technology. So I wonder if you like short circuit their augments or something.
I mean, I thought I'd definitely be able to just destroy like turrets and things like that. But yeah, because I know like those little dog things. Like it told me they weren't. I couldn't attack them.
Oh.
So maybe that is why. So maybe it's people that have augmentations or something like that. But it's just kind of weird to see how you're like these little data lines go through the floor, and then like all of a sudden the people just like and drop over.
Yeah, they like explode in electricity a little bit, and then then they fall over.
It's an interesting game. I mean, I'll definitely keep playing it with you. I mean, it's Shadowrun, so I like that.
The music is freaking terrible.
Yeah, music's bad. Horrible.
It's almost non-existent. I ended up listening to like a Shadowrun Spotify playlist instead. Spotify. That's right. Oh God.
Yeah, boy. But it is what it is. There's a reason why it's only $10, but it's a fun little diversion. That we're fans of Shadowrun, so it just gives us more of that we want. So
it's true.
There you go. That's our What You Playing this week. No community grab bag, folks. I got no
Josh
questions.
had a question.
We got no Dan Anthony update.
Josh had a live
Josh
question.
Has one?
He was asking if that's how we... so going by this philosophy, how do you guys watch Star Wars? in
I'm
the
not talking about
chronological
our
versus.
I don't have my community grab bag music. I can't answer the question yet.
Oh shit! I'm sorry. Oh my god.
Thank you. Much better.
It's an oldie but
Well,
a goodie.
Typically, Josh, I'd always just watch Star Wars in release order. Well, not even release order. I've watched a couple different ways. I've watched in release order, and then I've watched just straight episode 1 through 6. You know, boom, boom, boom. But when when I made my wife watch Star Wars the first time, I did the machete, Danny Trejo.
Yes, I think you talked about that on the podcast a long time ago.
Which I enjoyed that. So for those unfamiliar, you start off with episodes 4 and 5. Introduce yourself to Luke Skywalker, begin that saga. You end on that cliffhanger of Empire Strikes Back. Then you go back to episode 1. Actually, in some versions, they just skip episode 1. But go back, watch episode 1, 2, and 3, get the backstory, and then jump back to episode 6 for the climax. And then now you can just jump right into 7 and 8. But I haven't I haven't done that now with Rogue One. So you got to throw Rogue One in the mix too, because I do want to watch Rogue One episode 4 back to back, because I haven't ever done that.
The machete, see, that's an important thing. I do feel like, and I've been thinking about this, when my son grows up and gets old enough to start watching them, I don't want to introduce him to 1 through 3 first, because I don't want to have to be apologizing the whole time and being like, no, it gets better. Like, trust me, when we get to 4 through 6, it's going to be so much more fun.
The young kids really that were young when those movies released really liked them. You know, there's the Jar Jar and there's other elements.
Yeah, but you know what? That's not an excuse, because kids also liked the 4 through 6 as well. But also adults did too.
You know, here's the thing, though. I'm a bad person to ask, because I don't mind the prequels. You know, I've consumed... Unfortunately, you shouldn't have to be like me and consume so much other material between...
Materia.
You know, I did say materia. Between, like, the Clone Wars series and the novels. You shouldn't have to do all that to make those books, those movies enjoyable. But after watching and reading all that I have, I do really enjoy what's going on. And, like, when I was younger... Like that all the political crap that's going on in episode 1, it was terrible for me. But going back to it now, I kind of like really enjoy it, because I love to see the puppet master that Palpatine was, and just all the manipulation and things he's setting in motion back then.
Yeah,
sound like sound like Thomas now.
I did like, yeah, I agree. Like, the more I thought about it, the more I don't mind the first 3 Star Wars. There's something to like out of all of them, but I don't think any of them are well-rounded as an overall movie experience. I like the pod racing of the first one. Has nothing to do with Star Wars, really, other than that there's pod racing. Like, it's cool to watch, but...
Boonta Eve classic?
Yeah. And, of course, the midichlorian scandal.
Yeah.
But
hey,
then...
which Yoda do you like better? The CGI Yoda or Puppet Yoda?
Puppet Yoda, come on.
No, have you seen episode 1 Puppet Yoda?
Well, I imagine so. I guess I don't remember.
Oh gosh. Do yourself a favor after we're done with this episode. Go on YouTube and do episode 1 Yoda comparison, because when that aired theatrically, Yoda was a puppet. And then they realized how god-awful he looked, and they CGI'd him.
How did they do a puppet better in the 70s than they did?
I don't know, but he just looks horrible. It's terrible. Luckily, they did. At least they got it right in episode 8. But yeah, I don't know what they did. I don't know how you can have a puppet from in 1980 that was so effective, but then in 2000 and what?
I tell you what it is.
Or 2001, you couldn't? I don't get it.
I tell you what it is. It's because back then you could make puppets out of like lead and asbestos, and then they couldn't do that anymore. So they were like, "Shit, we got to make this out of what is that stuff? Latex, rubber, whatever. I don't know. Yeah. Whatever they use on Face Off." So that's the problem.
You would be. You would be.
That's the best takeout ever. Outtake. Takeout? Takeout, yeah. Outtake.
The best takeout.
The best takeout. Ooh, that's our next episode. Is the best takeout in Grand Rapids. It's very applicable to all of our listeners.
How big you get in food of this kind? Ah.
Pretzel rods. I still think it looked like pretzel rods.
They do look like pretzel. Rolled gold.
That's
Definitely
right.
rolled gold.
Mine.
Those pretzel rods Mike had in his basement. That's probably the problem.
So, Josh,
Inside joke.
Thanks for the question. The rest of you, for shame. For shame.
Shame. Shame.
I don't have a bell.
I can snap.
Well, a snap. It's the end of the podcast.
And then I play this. You hear it? Do you hear it? I need to I need to resample this or whatever because it's much lower than many of the other songs that we play volume-wise.
A remix? A Fluxtaposed theme song remix? Ricka Wolverine.
Oh, God.
All right, gang, that is going to conclude episode 199 of Fluxtaposed.
Yes.
We're on the eve of 200, so we'd love to see as many of you as possible here in the live chat so we can have a great time. Episode 200. If you can't make it, we understand. But hey, send us your audio sample because we'd love to hear from you, to bask in our glory, to celebrate our accomplishment. Because I still think not many podcasts make it to 200. We've been doing this a long time. I didn't think we'd still be doing it. Lucas, you probably didn't think we'd still be doing it.
Hell no.
I didn't even think we'd hit 50, and here we are at 200. So
that's right.
Stick around for that. Nothing else, though. Remember, it's the best podcast you're not listening to. So.
Suggestions for episode 200 you will give us. Because I think we're gonna do kind of a fluid episode, aren't we?
Yeah,
it's
we're just hanging out, having a good time. So, I mean, if you guys have anything specific you'd like to hear about the show, the history, our friendship, you know, we'll pull back the curtain.
Or if you just want to watch us play Toe Jam and Earl, because we've also talked about that as well.
We'll just stream Toe Jam and Earl the whole time.
We still have to do the podcast, but we also have to play a video game at the same time. Oh, God.
All right, we'll figure it out. But hey, that's next week, so come join us on Discord and tell us why we shouldn't do that. All right, I'm out of here. Lucas, you're out of here.
Yes.
Good show, my friend. Let's do it again in 7 days. Goodbye, everybody.
Take it to him.
The soundboard was muted on the after show, so there's like a silence and then it comes back up. Night, Josh. Thank you. Bye.